We are in the last 15 minutes of today's trading activity. Joining us now is Diana Avigdor. She's the Vice President and Head of Trading at Barometer Capital. She's joining us from the TSX Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. Diana, good to be with you. I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you're doing well, and love to get your take in terms of the latest on the markets. What are you seeing?
It's as hot in the market today as it is outside, Catherine. We had everything that we expected. The FOMC today was very well expected. I think Fed Chair Yellen has made the same speech or iterated the same message, I think 2 or 3 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it'd be a surprise if anybody was surprised by what she said. The Fed rate hike is on the table, possibly even in September. I know a lot of people are pricing in mostly December, but I think that she's leaving it on the table that it might be September. I think that there are some problems with raising the rate first time in December in a very thin holiday-ish market environment going right into the first quarter. So it's possible that she would like to start normalizing, or at least indicate that there's possibility for normalizing policy a little bit early, so we have a little bit in the year to try and work through it. So it's not off the table, and frankly, a rate increase I think should be equity friendly at this point, as opposed to non, as normalization is a good thing, not a bad thing.
So you're still buying into the equity market, correct? You feel comfortable doing that? How aggressive do you do it?
So, you know, there's been some deterioration in breadth. Everybody's talking about this. There is some risk as we have gone up so much. But Catherine, with rates going up in the U.S. And so much money that has flown into the bond market, I think that there's going to be money flow support. I think earnings are not blowing things out of the gate by any means, but they're not very negative. Financials, especially in the U.S., a big cornerstone in the economy, are starting to do much better. And as a matter of fact, on the aggregate, are more expensive than the Canadian banks just because of the expectations of better capital return and loan growth and so forth.
Right. Diana, when you take a look at the Canadian earnings, let's focus a little bit there as well. I don't know which of these names you own in terms of what you're watching from the Canadian earnings perspective, but we did have Thomson, Reuters, Intact Financial. Those were both out this morning. Cott, Corp tomorrow, and then also Maple Leaf Foods tomorrow after the close. What do we care about here? What are you looking at?
We care about all 4 of those, as a matter of fact. So our portfolios are mostly U.S. tilted in financials, but U.S. And some of the Canadian names are exactly what you mentioned. So Intact Financial, Specialty Financial, reported a decent quarter on what some people felt might have been light of expectations on the top line. The stock, after an initial weakness on the day, traded up. Really, the combined ratio was better. Their originations were 5% better. Management is executing well, so that was okay. You mentioned Cott. That is a restructuring story. They're shoring up their balance sheets. They've taken out a preferred, paid it back. The theme on all of these really is cost cutting. These are the places where Canadian investments Canadian money, if you need to be invested in Canada, this is where you can be in some of these discretionary specialty financials. Thomson, Reuters, fantastic restructuring story. Finally, after a couple of years, that all of their segments are executing on all cylinders. The new Reuters, the Triton software is finally starting to work out, and cost cutting is a theme. And where are you going to go? Energy is not investable yet. Gold is not investable yet.
Right, absolutely.
Financials might be investable at some point, but
right. Diana, good to see you and speak with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Catherine.